Hollywood just yet.
Thank goodness.
We've still got a couple of things we didn't look at. Now, look, this sort of sparked my interest this week was the fact that good old Rian Johnson, our favorite director from the Star Wars universe.
Oh, I like him.
Has, unfortunately, he went through and deleted 20,000 of his previous tweets. Anybody wondering why he might be doing this sort of thing?
I'm wondering how he's done 20,000
The article
tweets.
said 2,000.
Yeah, well, obviously,
I think that was a typo.
comicbook.com needs to check
Damn.
it.
How does he have 20,000
Who
tweets?
has 20,000?
He's been on Twitter for a really long time, and also it's a lot of this because since starting Star Wars, he's just tweeting all the time.
That's
now.
like 60 years at a tweet a day. That was right math. I got that math right.
Yay.
He tweets a lot.
Right.
He's very vocal on Twitter about. I mean, he's like he's very good with fans. He responds to everybody. Like he's pretty good.
So is a tweet like just replying to someone?
Yeah, that could count as a tweet as well, and that obviously goes up in historically.
Gotcha.
The Twitterverse.
Right.
Okay, continue.
So you might be wondering why. Well, the backlash is because we know that James Gunn, the director of arguably one of the greatest Marvel movies ever created, The Guardians of the Galaxy. Although I think, and I still like Guardians of the Galaxy too. Did you? Ali,
No,
you didn't
it's
rate
trash.
it. You didn't like it.
What? I liked it.
I thought it was good, but I get where you're coming from. It's not as
It
good
was
as
different.
number one.
It was different in
yeah.
that nothing happened.
Anyway.
I see you, cause you're me, boy. That's the line you really.
Nothing
hate.
happened in the first one either.
Yeah, but I cry at the end of it every time. So clearly something's happening, not just telling people that we're a family.
So basically the headline is that James Gunn, Mike Cernovich drug up like basically a bunch of these tweets that James Gunn had done. Like
Who?
Mike Cernovich. He is a. I was trying to look him up. I've heard his name before, especially he comes around in conservative circles. Wiki says he's alt-right, but then I'm very dubious when people say anything is alt-right because I don't think people know what that means.
I think most people, all I heard was that he was just right.
I know he's definitely conservative. I just don't know how far, like if he's just like a conservative or he's just like way far right. I have no idea.
I never met him.
Yeah.
But I heard
he is definitely pro-Trump. So, and James Gunn has been very vocal about not liking Trump, which if you ever read any of his tweets, he's very vocal about it. He's right up there with the best of them. And so I think this also stems from the fact that Roseanne was obviously kicked off her show because of that one tweet that she did. And so I think Mike Cernovich sort of went, well, if you're going to use...
Didn't he own ABC?
Who?
Does
Disney own ABC?
Yeah, okay. So it was like a Disney decision to get rid of Roseanne. Okay.
Yeah. So Mike Cernovich goes, well, hey, we've got these tweets from James Gunn from a decade ago. And now, look, I'm not going to defend anything that he puts in these tweets. They're
really dumb, eh?
They're pretty
And
terrible.
bad.
They're pretty terrible tweets. As in, they're pretty terrible things to be making jokes of.
I don't think anyone's defending the
Yeah.
actual tweets.
Yeah.
The question is, though, should you be fired for something that you said a decade ago? Because this is just something that goes on public record. I agree that it's really stupid that he put these things up there. But it's weird that they would take such a hard stand on something that happened so long ago.
I thought given his response, it was an overreaction. Because he wasn't trying to defend what he'd said.
Yeah.
He was like, that was really dumb.
Yeah.
Like he himself was saying that was really bad. And because of how long it is, there's definitely a time aspect to this, right?
Yeah. Well,
10 years has got to be too long.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's where Disney has to like, okay, well, we have to take a hard line because it is a family company. Look, I get where they're coming from too. Like you're right, maybe you're right. Maybe there's an overreaction.
He got kids involved in it.
Gotcha.
It's hard to defend.
it's hard to get past that. So, but look, this is kind of just. I mean, I think Ali posted an article about like Dan Harmon having to also apologize for a video that got posted that he did like 9 years ago.
His was a pilot.
Did you watch
I never watched
video?
it. I never watched
I
it.
didn't watch
Though.
it.
Was it?
Chris
I heard it described.
Let me
can you describe it?
Let me pitch it to you.
Right.
So you remember when Dexter was huge?
Yeah,
Everyone was
yeah.
watching Dexter. So Dexter's a TV show from, 10 years ago about this guy who's got these urges to kill people. So he kills people, but he's the good guy.
Yeah.
So the pitch of this show is like, imagine Dexter, but instead of the good guy having to murder people, he has to molest children.
No, doesn't he go back in time and molest them as children?
No. Well, I don't know. I watched the first 10 minutes of the show.
Right.
It was weird.
It sounds weird.
But that's a funny concept, right?
So the concept is what? He goes.
So in Dexter, he goes and murders people, but in this, he's like in therapy. He's like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, I need to molest his children, but he's the good guy, and I don't know, it's just really weird.
So he only molests bad people? Is that the idea? Because Dexter only kills
bad people, right? So he only molests bad babies.
I can see where that train of thought has come
and
from.
Dan Harmon is a little bit twisted in that way, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like everything is. I mean, look, I don't know if you noticed this, but everything now is are you noticing this trend where everything can't be a joke? Essentially, like everything needs to be taken seriously. I mean, there was a conservative outlet this week who just as a parody. Do you know that Ocasio-Cortez girl who's been like doing the circles? So somebody as
the one who won.
Yeah, the one who won the one in New York.
The Democratic primary for New York.
So obviously conservatives. There was an interview that she did with I don't know. There was some interview that she did recently. And I think conservatives were really laughing at her because she couldn't answer some of the questions, obviously. So this one girl did like an interview, recut the interview with her questions asking her, and obviously edited it so she looked like an idiot, right? As a gag, because everybody does that.
Yeah, it's what Colbert does with Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then everybody's up in arms. It's like, oh, this is an insult. This is like blah blah blah. It's like there was an article in the Wall Street Journal talking about how like this is an insult to like why would you make fun of this girl? It's like, dude, it's a joke.
Yeah, if Colbert's allowed to do it to Trump, then everyone's allowed to do it to everyone else.
This is the weird thing is that now we're not allowed to make jokes about each other.
Did you guys find it? So sorry, back on that pilot that he pitched. That reminds me of a joke in Rick and Morty. You know the episode where they're doing the memory thing?
Yeah.
And one of the memories is Rick Morty thinks he's torturing an alien, but he's actually pleasuring the alien. That's the premise of that pilot, because he's saying, well, is it better if you molest someone or if you murder them? He's basically asking that philosophical question, but he's turned it into a whole show. Because you know how Rick's like, if we're okay with like murdering or torturing people, but we're not okay with getting them off, then we're no better than them.
There's a lot of fine lines in Rick and Morty too, like I think it's the Me6 episode where they go into that fantasy land, and it's just like there's that episode that episode always made me feel uneasy, where they go to that jelly bean, that King Jelly Bean episode. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh he
confronts him in the bathroom.
He goes on the adventure.
I'm like that scene in the bathroom always made me feel uneasy. I was like, oh gosh, this is from a dark place.
Where they beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, but like he tries to rape him in the toilet.
Oh, but I mean that's Dan Harmon, unfortunately. I mean, look, that's kind of it's kind of hard because like I've always known, like, you listen to any of Dan Harmon's podcasts, he's kind of a messed up dude. Like he's admitted that he's pretty messed up. Like he's
a weird one in that you shouldn't expect better from this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly a little bit unhinged and super messed up.
He talks about it openly about how like he goes to therapy. He's like he's not always in a good place.
But he also makes some of the greatest content that's ever been made.
And Adult Swim's response was a lot better than I think Disney's. This whole thing's making me think Roseanne Barr's show shouldn't have been cancelled.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, and
before when it happened, I was very much like,
I will take that, because if you're going to measure, this is the thing. I think this is the example that everybody's trying to say. It's like if you're going to hold people accountable for what they put on the internet, then you have to hold everybody accountable. Like one person, you got to hold everybody accountable for it, and that's not a good precedent, because it's like, well, what does this mean? Like, if you just put up something and they can take it way out of context without any, there's no investigation into what that actually meant.
I think it's very different, the Roseanne thing, because that is current, and she, alongside stupid tweets, she has a record of being hard to work with, of being very vocal about her opinions in your face.
She had that record before she got the show, though.
Exactly.
And her only defense is, I thought she was white.
And the Shonda Rhimes and people like just quit the show already, so there wasn't much left for Disney to do.
I'm not saying that I defend what Roseanne said, And I mean, look, I can only go by what other people have said about Roseanne as well. Like Joe Rogan is very much said that he's friends with Roseanne. He says, there's no way. She's not racist. She said something stupid, and he said that he understands because she goes through she's got mental illnesses.
Yeah, well, I never thought she actually should be fired. I understood why they did it, and I didn't really have a huge problem with it.
Well, if heaps of other people in the show are like leaving it and stuff.
But the reason
heaps of them weren't leaving it, and then they got fired too. And like,
but they're doing the show again now, just without her.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
they're
it's
doing
called
a show called
The Connors.
Yeah.
But the reason I think it's different is that you can... I think, like, I don't actually believe this, but what I think is kind of the general online consensus is that it's going to sound like I'm making fun of it, but I don't know, somewhere over the past 4 years, everyone seemed to wake up, which is called the general term of it, it's called being woke, as to how what you do online and everything you say can be seen by every single other person and can be taken every single way that it can be taken, and that you need to be smarter online. And that wasn't there back pre-2010 times. I think there is an argument there of should you be judged on something back when, like, in context of a conversation with a one-on-one person, it would probably be funny. But in context of someone who's probably been affected by that either crime or terrible act, it's never going to be funny. And you'd never say that to someone who had been affected by something like pedophilia. Does that make sense?
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm sorry, I don't know how to. It's kind of hard to word this without making.
That's why I think it's really different from the Roseanne thing. It's
no.
She's still racist. That's.
Well, is she racist?
She doesn't say other stuff that's racist.
That's what I'm saying. Like this. I get why people got upset about that tweet. Don't get me wrong. Like I think it was really poorly timed and really poorly worded. Whether she's racist, I don't know. It was a dumb thing to say.
She's potentially anti-Semitic because she says a lot of stuff about that. George Soros.
She is way deep into conspiracy theory stuff. I'm not doubting that she believes a lot of crazy stuff,
which she did before she got the show.
Correct.
So it's like, okay, you're
and
not.
Same with James.
That.
And this is the thing with going back to Disney and James Gunn is that they knew he was like this before they hired him as well. Like he has
made 2 movies.
Yeah, he has a history. No, what?
They made 2 movies with him, knowing this.
Yeah.
There's a history. Why does this coming out change that?
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, okay, do we just excuse the fact? It's the fact that he made jokes about pedophilia, and Disney is a
pedophilia.
Is pedophilia?
Do you think it's?
I don't think that's it. Because
I think it's because they fired Roseanne.
You think that's the reason why? I think it's just because Disney doesn't want anything to do with.
I think there's something more behind it. I think that this is not enough. It doesn't make sense.
There's something else.
Like they wanted to fire him before this came.
There's so many other people that have and do work with Disney that do things like this. Like Sarah Silverman, she has horrific jokes.
Yeah, she does.
And she has tweets on her timeline presently about
what is she
raping
doing,
kids. What's the kid in Wreck-It Ralph?
Wreck-It Ralph, yeah. She's the main kid that isn't Ralph.
Ah.
The candy,
she's the
whatever.
princess.
I don't immediately associate Sarah.
Yeah, I know. I just think of her as a really.
You think of her as the abortion joke person,
and
which is right.
It's not, and
she makes a lot of jokes about that sort of thing.
You don't associate James Gunn with Disney just like that either.
But it's like his biggest movies to date.
You do now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's Marvel. It's not the cast.
I don't think Wreck-It Ralph for Sarah Silverman. That's what I'm saying. Like James Gunn, you would think.
No, but she is. But either way, she's associated with the brand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's you're in the company. You should be. But that's the thing. Like, do we hold people? And that's the greater question. Like, do you hold people accountable for their occupation? You know,
I would look at it a different way. Like, I want apologies to mean something.
Yeah.
So if someone gives a proper apology and shows like they actually regret what they said,
sure.
Which he had, right?
Who?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Ago. That's why I think this is unfair. I also like Roseanne's a harder one because she kept going back and forth, but her initial response was good, and then it went, "Oh, stupid."
I personally think that she shouldn't have apologized. I think she should just owned it. It's like whatever.
Or whatever. I'm racist.
Yeah, but just own it.
Right.
Like, I think Adult Swim's response was probably the best part of this whole story, and that here's the response. At Adult Swim, we seek out and encourage. At Adult Swim, we seek out and encourage creative freedom and look to push the envelope in many ways, particularly around comedy. The offensive content of Dan's 2009 video that recently surfaced demonstrates poor judgment and does not reflect the type of content we seek out. Dan recognized his mistake at the time and has apologized. He understands there is no place for this type of content here at Adult Swim.
Yeah,
awesome.
which is fair.
Which is a super PC, super polite, super proper response that makes sense. Disney's one doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
I don't know. But Disney's been very... again, I don't know. It's that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems very swift. Like, it seems very without... Nobody's talked to anybody. It's just like, you get a phone call and it's like, hey, you're fired.
Well, I'm sure there's got to be something else.
That's
So
why it seems like there's something.
So Ali and Chris are both in the there's something else going on camp.
If there's not, then I think Disney's the bad guy here because they're not upholding
Well,
the same
Disney
standard.
could be the bad guy.
When's the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie meant to be?
2020?
He was finishing
2018.
writing it, I think, was where it was.
So they haven't started shooting.
They
it
just
yet,
finished shooting Avengers 4.
Will they use his script?
For sure.
Yeah,
Well, he's a disgusting pedophile joke guy. They can't use his script.
Yeah, but they're not going to get rid of the first two movies either, are they?
They
Disney's
haven't
not a
created it.
good moral company as much as they'd like to seem like they are.
Will they get rid of it? Maybe they... it wouldn't surprise me, man.
They still want to make money.
They're just like, we'll just blot out Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
I think it's a libertarian argument where you assume that going after profit will lead to good morals.
Right.
And I agree with you. I don't think they're a moral company.
Yeah.
They're going after profit.
Absolutely. That's why
So
I'm
there's
saying,
no
like,
guarantee what they do is going to
that
be good.
would, to me, that's the there is that they're doing it so they just don't have to deal with it later. Like, they don't want the backlash later, so they're just like, we better cut our ties with him. They made a financial decision. It's like, how much money can we stand to lose if we get rid of James Gunn now? And then they just said, we'll just get rid of him now.
I think they just didn't want to take part in the culture war going on.
Maybe not.
But they just did.
But they're kind of. But you're right.
No, because they just did the same thing for both sides, and they go, well, we're just going to have the same rule for both sides. They've avoided the controversy.
No,
but that's so bad,
different.
though.
It's
just
not the
like,
same rule. You can't make the same ruling in different situations.
And that is why Rian Johnson... Although Rian Johnson did say he doesn't think he has anything controversial.
name's
He
Ryan.
doesn't...
Yeah,
Rian.
you keep switching
Rian.
between
No,
the
it's
two.
Rian.
It's Ryan.
You definitely said Ryan.
You're the only person I know
Is
on
it
the planet who
Rian
says
or
it like
Ryan?
that.
It's Ryan.
Somebody tell me, and I don't want it to be F.
It's not going to be Googleable because it's not
promise
Googleable because no one calls him
I
that.
promise it's Ryan.
I will find out. and I
You
will
said
get back to
Ryan
you.
at the start
I
of
did.
the story.
All right, I did.
Okay.
Anyway.
Where this topic's going really long. Can I wrap it up?
Yes.
You sure can.
I'm going to wrap it up with Dave Bautista's response, which I thought was bloody beautiful. This is the response to James Gunn. Dave Bautista is one of the actors in his movie Guardians of the Galaxy.
Drax.
I will have more to say, but for right now, all I will say is this. James Gunn is one of the most loving, caring, good-natured people I've ever met. He's gentle and kind and cares deeply for people and animals. He's made mistakes. We all have. I'm not okay with what's happening to him.
There's been a petition to get him back.
Yeah, what's the petition?
I haven't met one person who said yes, he should be fired.
Yeah.
I've had no other side of the coin on this one. Have you guys?
Because of Roseanne, bro.
No.
Well, the thing is,
That's literally the only thing on the other side.
If Roseanne's thing would probably be more current if she had like a movie that people loved recently. I think that would make the conversation
But
a lot
Roseanne was
different.
one of the highest rating shows on ABC at the time.
yeah, ABC. No one cares.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I don't believe anything to do with ratings in old TV.
they were getting good numbers either way.
Highest rating shows.
I know, but how
on
else is this
television,
the all
which
right.
nobody watches.
Yeah, Trump said they were getting good numbers.
Oh, that's true.
God.
Don't talk to Nick about
Unbelievable.
Where's your MAGA hat, man?
I should get one, right?
You should.
So somebody can smash it off me.